Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named, the man, the myth, the only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person. It's Tom Schmitz.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. Let's go right out to the phone lines. Medicare deadline to change your plan. It's fast approaching. It's also time to choose your doctor. That's why we're going to talk to Dr. Kenneth Adams. He's the Regional Chief Medical Officer for United Healthcare, Medicare, and Retirement Plans. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Tom. How are you this morning?
Wonderful, wonderful. You know, this is something that I need to learn because I'm in my mid-50s, so it's approaching. People don't think 11 years from now is that long at 54 to 65, but Medicare is on my horizon, so I love interviews like this where I can learn about things that I need to do. Now, when you say the Medicare deadline's fast approaching, I mean, it's December 7th. We're less than, we're 2 weeks away, I think?
That's right. It's coming up.
Okay, so when you're talking about it's fast approaching, what if I was 65 years old, what would I need to do between now and December 7th?
Well, first you need to know that you don't have to change your health care plan to change your doctor. You need to feel comfortable with the doctor you choose, and people don't always realize that they can change their doctor. That's why United Healthcare is teaming up with WellMed to let the public know how important it is to find the right doctor. And a key question that you need to ask, does your doctor practice value-based care?
And what is value-based care?
Well, a 2019 Harvard study found that people with chronic conditions had better health outcomes with doctors who practice value-based care, because patients benefit when their doctors prioritize preventative care to keep them healthy and out of the hospital. Meanwhile, those same providers can offer valuable services that may not be paid for under regular Medicare fee-for-service. With value-based health care, all patients are not treated the same. Your care is more specifically designed based on your needs. And then doctors are compensated and incentivized based on how well their patients are doing versus the number of patients that they see in a given day.
So then how do I go about finding one of those right doctors?
Well, you have to ask the right questions of your doctors. The first question would be, does your doctor get compensated based on a value-based model, which rewards the doctor for keeping you healthy regardless of your health conditions? Next, you can ask, what's the average time that your doctor spends with their patients? And obviously, the more, the better. And then how do you communicate, or how does that physician communicate and coordinate care with other patients' care teams, such as the specialists and the hospitals? And how do they keep up to date and practice with the latest in medical advances and technology?
We're talking with Dr. Kenneth Adams. He is the Regional Chief Medical Officer for United Healthcare, Medicare, and Retirement Plan. We're talking about maybe when, as the deadline comes up for your Medicare, you don't have to change plans to change doctors. See, I was under the impression that if you stayed with the same plan, it was better to stay with the same doctor because of the continuation of care. But you're saying it's all relative, that it could be depending on your needs, depends on whether you have the right doctor or not.
Absolutely. Doctors, having a good relationship with your doctor is very important, but not all doctors are created the same. And some doctors do a better job with actually keeping you healthy. So you can have a great relationship, but if your doctor's not keeping you healthy, you need to find a new doctor potentially.
Is there a difference between the type of doctors, like you see MD and DO, and you see all different designations? Is there a difference in the accreditation-wise, or is it just something that you should find out through asking questions, what doctor best fits your needs?
MDs and DOs are equal. There used to be a difference decades ago, 40 years ago, but now we train in the same systems together. Some of the best doctors that I work with are DO-trained physicians, and I would not make a difference based on the two letters behind their name. However, you can find out how they do in their value-based healthcare initiatives and whether they're scoring 4 stars or 5 stars or maybe 3 stars, and if they're 3 stars, maybe you should be looking for a different physician.
Let me ask you this. Does this work whether I'm enrolled in Original Medicare or Medicare Advantage? Do I still have the options of searching out the doctor that I need that's the right fit for me?
You can, with Original Medicare, look for those same things, but it works better in Medicare Advantage because Medicare Advantage allows the providers to get reimbursed for things that may not be compensated in the regular Medicare fee-for-service, things like wellness incentives and pharmacy benefits that may not exist in traditional Medicare.
What about chronic conditions? Is there a benefit to chronic conditions with picking out a doctor that fits you or anything that instead of going with the doctor you may have had? If you have a chronic condition, is it beneficial to you to look into changing your doctor maybe?
There are definitely programs for chronic conditions that take into account what condition it is, whether you have end-stage renal disease or diabetes or COPD or CHF. There are different plans that actually look at those particular conditions and work to maximize the patient's healthy outcomes.
So we're in the middle of a global pandemic, as we all know. We were reminded on it minute by minute, if not hour by hour and day by day. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. How does the global pandemic figure into all of this with the new Medicare Advantage, you know, getting your doctor and all? How's the pandemic figuring into all of this?
Well, so I would take advantage of a plan and a provider that offer telehealth visits and other resources to help navigate your health care from your own home. And then review included plan benefits that help you save money, like wellness incentives and pharmacy benefits. And especially if you have a chronic condition and during this pandemic, it's critical that you and your family maintain doctor visits, wellness checks, and of course, all your vaccinations, including the flu.
We're talking with Dr. Kenneth Adams. He's the Regional Chief Medical Examiner for United Healthcare, Medicare, and Retirement Plan. Dr. Adams, do you see televisits as being one of the things you always know in pandemics like this and epidemics that we have, that there's certain things that people figure out that work best that then stay in medicine? It's not just for a pandemic. Do you think televisiting your doctor is going to be something that stays around long after this pandemic's brought under control?
I hope so. It's one of the few silver linings of the pandemic that I can see is the advances that we've made, dramatic advances we've made in telehealth just in the last 6 to 8 months. I myself have participated in a couple of telehealth visits, and they're just so convenient. You don't have to drive 20 minutes to your doctor's office. You don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to wait in a waiting room with other people that may be infected with some disease that you might catch. And then you can see your practitioner, and then they can decide whether you should come in or not. And it's just so much easier. The technology is amazing. A lot of doctors' offices will help you before your telehealth visit to make sure that your connectivity is in place, that you've downloaded the right application. So I see, lots of people in their 90s, even 100, who are using their smartphone to communicate with their physician. And it just makes better sense to me.
With the technology out there, why wouldn't you do it? And you bring up the best reason. I don't want to go into a waiting room where there's a bunch of sick people so I can catch what they have as well. Televisits make all the sense in the world to me. It is a good silver lining to come out of this, and you got to find silver linings in this pandemic. Dr. Kenneth Adams,
Absolutely.
Tell me about, if I want to find out more information, or if people listening today want to find more information out about possibly changing their doctor without changing their plan, where's some places they could go find more information?
So you can learn more about value-based care at wellmedhealthcare.com/Dr. Wright. And to view Medicare plans through United Healthcare, visit uhcmedicarehealthplans.com.
Doctor, thanks so much for taking a short time out for us today, because the deadline's looming. It's December 7th. Like you said, you don't have to change your health plan, but you can change your doctor to get more in tune with your needs. Thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Adams.
Take care, Tom.
That was Dr. Kenneth Adams, the Regional Chief Medical Officer for United Healthcare, Medicare, and Retirement Plans. He gave us some good information there. You don't always have to change your plan to change your doctor. I thought that they went hand in hand, but after talking to Dr. Adams, that doesn't seem to be the case. Tomorrow, Tuesday, right here on these airwaves, it's In the Garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. She'll be on answering any of your gardening questions you may have. And then it's Matt Gibbs from Auto Repair with Personal Care with Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Auto. He'll be in at 10 o'clock answering all your car questions you may have. Hey, I want to thank my guest today, Sonda Eunice, in the 8:30 hour for Tom and Sonda. Of course, Joe Martone filling in admirably when I need somebody to bounce ideas off of or alligator stories. And then, of course, Dr. Kenneth Adams. Well, I'd like to thank all of them for their appearance. And thank you for listening to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.